What is the name of the thermodynamic function that is called heat at constant volume? Dear students, what is the name of the thermodynamic function that is called the heat at constant volume?
Sir, internal energy.
Internal energy.
Very good, very good. Great. Correct answer. Next, what is the meaning of the term state function? What is the meaning of the term state function?
Thermodynamic function that depends upon the initial state and final state of the system, but not on the path of the change. Is called state function.
Very good, very good. Dear students, you can clap for your partner of the class. I would be happy if you could do it. Thank you. Define the term isobaric, please. What is the meaning of the term isobaric?
So,
Isobaric means constant
Isobaric means
pressure.
at constant pressure.
Repeat once again, please.
constant pressure.
Wonderful. Correct. Let me clap for you. What is the meaning of the isobaric expansion? What is the meaning of the word isobaric expansion? Am I audible, dear students?
Sir,
If the volume increases, it is called expansion. Isobaric expansion means expansion at constant pressure. It means at constant pressure, the volume of gas increases.
Wow, it's a wonderful answer. I'm so happy. May I know who has given the answer? Your good name, please.
Sir Anurag.
Anurag, wonderful
Anurag.
answer. I'm so happy. Very nice. Let's move to the next question. What is the meaning of the symbol QV? What do you understand by the meaning of the symbol QV?
sir, when heat exchange at constant volume, this symbol was represent. Will
Wonderful.
represent. Sorry.
Wonderful. Can you tell your name?
Sir, Rajkumar.
Thank you, Rajkumar. I'm so happy, Rajkumar, that you have given the perfect answer. Wonderful, wonderful. Next question for you all. What is the meaning of the symbol QP? The meaning of the symbol QP?
QP means heat or constant pressure.
Exchanged.
QP
Mathematical
means
form of
heat. QP means heat exchange at constant pressure.
Wonderful. Anurag, you answered again, Anna. All of you are requested to answer and participate into the class discussion, dear students. What is the mathematical form of first law of thermodynamics? What is the mathematical form of first law of thermodynamics?
Delta U
Delta V is equal to Q plus W.
Tushar, you need to repeat because someone has overlapped you. Tushar,
Yes, sir.
please repeat.
Delta U is equal to Q plus W.
Very good. So Tushar has just answered the question that delta U is equal to Q plus W. What is the meaning of each term in the first law of thermodynamics? That means delta U, Q and W. What are the meaning of these terms, my dear students? What are the meaning of these terms?
delta U change in internal energy, Q heat exchange during the change, W work done during the change.
Great. Nice
Yes,
answer.
sir.
But I would like to request all the students to participate into the class discussion, dear students. I once again would like to request you, do participate and make your learning more joyful. That's what I would like to request you. Now, let's move forward and understand something that is new for us. Today, we shall be discussing about the uh, new thermodynamic function, that is what it is known as the enthalpy. You can see on your screen here. Dear students, are you able to watch this on your screen?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm talking about this term which is known as the enthalpy. So let's study about the term known as the enthalpy. Let's move forward. Enthalpy is a useful new state function. We know that, my dear student, that, heat absorbed at constant volume, we know that heat absorbed at constant volume is equal to the change in the internal energy. So we can write that delta U is equal to QV. We have just understood the meaning of these important terms. But most of the chemical reactions are carried out not at constant volume, but in the flask or in the test tubes. And my dear students, you are well aware that when we do the various experiments in either the flask or in the test tube, they are under the constant atmospheric pressure. We need to define another state function which may be suitable under these conditions. That means constant pressure. Let's think about a system in which we have a weightless and a frictionless piston. Remember, my dear students, we are talking about the weightless and frictionless piston. You need to remember that we are going to use the piston which is weightless and frictionless. Practically, it is not possible, but hypothetically, we need to think of that the piston is weightless and the frictionless, which is fixed into the container. Now here you can see the figure, my dear students. You can see that in a particular container where the gas has been filled, we have a piston. That piston is weightless and frictionless, and inside the container we have gas. You can see that we have arranged the situation where we can heat this gas, and from outside the pressure of atmosphere or the outside pressure, we consider it as a P. So at constant pressure, that is at atmospheric pressure, we heat the gas in the container, so that the given heat is utilized. Now what happens when we provide the heat to the gas? The heat is utilized for various functions. Let us see those two functions or two work for what the heat is utilized. You can see here on your screen, dear students, that first the heat is utilized, or some part of heat is utilized to increase the volume of the gas from volume V1 to volume V2. You can see here easily that we have this in figure. The total volume of the gas we have kept, that is V1. So total volume of the gas is V1. Now when we heat it, my dear students, when we heat the gas container, what happens? That the gas container has increased its volume. And this is how you can see that the volume is become V2. Initially it was up to here where the volume was V1, and finally it become V2. So there is an increase in volume of the gas, which we consider it as an expansion, my dear students. Same way you can see that I have shown you the same at the opposite side even, that this is the volume V1 and this is the volume V2. So if we write, we can easily write that there is a change in volume, that we represent the change as delta V, and that is what it is, V2 minus V1. Now some of the other part of the heat is used to change the temperature, and the temperature which was initially T1, that has been increased to the new temperature T2. Again, my dear students, in figure 2, we have weightless, frictionless piston available with us, and again the temperature is same, the temperature does not change. We have same temperature, we brought the change, or we have performed the change at same temperature, that is the temperature T. So my dear students, looking at all these various conditions, we realize that before heating, that is in the initial state, the temperature was T1, pressure P, volume V1, and internal energy due to the temperature or by the uh, mass of the gas, we can have the internal energy, which is the sum of all various types of energy, which is V1. After heating, that means at the final state, the isobaric expansion, the temperature is T2, pressure is P, volume is V2, and the internal energy is U2. My dear students, you must have noted that the pressure remains constant, and we are well aware that as the heat is absorbed as the heat is absorbed by the system, we write that the heat is absorbed by the system at constant volume, and that is what we write it QV for heat absorbed at constant volume, my dear students. But here the heat is absorbed at constant pressure. That is what you need to understand. Now type of the change, that is change at constant pressure. So it is an isobaric change. That is what we have studied, or that is what we have seen into the previous questions. So heat here absorbed is utilized to bring about the following changes. The first change that takes place is the change in the volume. That is delta V is equal to V2 minus V1. The next change that we bring about is change in temperature. That is delta T, that is T2 minus T1. Some of the heat increases the kinetic energy of the molecule, that brings more strong force of heating with piston, and pressure, that is the force per unit area on the piston, increases and piston move upwards. My dear students, the volume change is just brought about due to the consumption of heat, and the piston moves upward and the volume of the system changes. Before the piston moves upward, the kinetic energy of the gas particle increases so that an extent that the force per unit area, that is the pressure of the gas, is enough to move piston. The increase in the kinetic energy bring about the temperature change from T1 to T2. So my dear students, we are very much clear about this, that as the Q heat is absorbed, the two function takes place. Temperature increases from T1 to T2 and the volume increases from V1 to V2. At temperature T2, my dear students, piston moves upward, that is up to V2 volume, and during the exchange, both the temperature and volume keeps on increasing. So now let's note down the changes that has happened. Here you can see that change in internal energy is delta U, that is U2 minus U1. Change in volume, that is delta V, that is V2 minus V1, and no change in the pressure. That is, therefore, the work done is P delta V, that is pressure multiplied by change in the volume. That is what we have discussed when we have discussed about the first law of thermodynamics. Now, what is the meaning of this negative sign, my dear students? You can understand that total heat Q has been absorbed, and by the consumption of this heat, the work is done. And that is why the work is done by the consumption of heat, and that is why we put the negative sign. Or in other words, my dear students, that we can say that work is done by the system, or here due to the expansion of the gas, the work is done, and that is why we put the negative sign. Here, my dear students, the heat is absorbed at constant pressure, and that is why instead of writing simple Q, we should write QP. So according to the first law of thermodynamics, my dear students, we can write delta U is equal to QP plus W. But you are very well aware that the value of W is equal to minus P delta V. So here we can directly write delta U is equal to QP plus minus P delta V, and by opening this bracket we can write QP is equal to minus P delta V. And for delta U we can write U2 minus U1, and therefore U2 minus U1 is equal to QP minus P V2 minus V1, because delta V is equal to V2 minus V1, my dear students. So now you can see here easily that when we multiply this, P into V2, that is PV2, and P into V1, that is PV1. But here, due to the minus into minus, this minus and minus turns out to be plus, and finally we get U2 minus U1 is equal to QP minus PV2 plus PV1. I hope, my dear students, you understand it all. If you find any difficulty to understand, you can stop me and ask me immediately at that time. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's move forward.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for your nice reply. U2 minus U1 is equal to QP minus PV2 PV1. Now let's take this negative on, or let us add both the side PV2. So U2 plus PV2 is equal to U1 plus QP plus PV1. So we have even brought this U1, or we have added U1 both the side, and finally we get this. Now, my dear students, here we have on the left side U2 plus PV2. Here you have U1 plus PV1. So we just bring these terms near to each other. And by writing this, we can easily understand that your QP is equal to U2 plus PV2 minus U1 plus PV1. Or, my dear students, we can say that QP is equal to U2 plus PV2 minus U1 plus PV1. Now here you can see, my dear students, very easily that using this we can easily we have something that is very mysterious. Here you can see that the heat absorbed at constant pressure is U2 plus PV2, U1 plus PV1. It is something like, you know, the relation between the U and PV. So to understand this, we are here, now we can define another thermodynamic function, and this thermodynamic function that we need to define is known as the enthalpy. So to understand this equation and to understand that heat absorbed or heat exchanged at constant pressure, we can see that there is a relation between U and PV that has been for the final state. This is what we can consider it as a final state, and this is what it is, the initial state. So here there is something, when we exchange the heat at constant pressure, we find some relation that is between the U and PV, and that relation, that new thermodynamic function, my dear student, we here write it or understand it as an enthalpy, which is known as the H. So work enthalpy comes from the Greek word enthalpion, and this enthalpy, the word enthalpy comes from the Greek word enthalpion, and that is what it means. The meaning of the enthalpy is to warm or is the heat contained of the system. So we can say that the new thermodynamic function enthalpy is nothing but the heat contained of the system, and mathematically, my dear students, we can easily write according to the above equation that H is equal to U plus PV. So this is the relation between the internal energy, pressure and volume. Now, for initial condition, if we write the enthalpy of the system H1, and for final condition, if we write the enthalpy of the system H2, my dear students, we can easily find out that change in enthalpy is equal to H2 minus H1. So here, my dear students, we can easily understand the change in enthalpy, that is your H2 minus H1. Now, if we have H is equal to U plus PV, then for delta H, we can write delta U plus delta P into V. Now here we put delta outside, so by taking the delta inside the bracket, delta H is equal to delta U, then delta P into V plus delta P into delta V. So once we take the change into pressure, and another time we take the change into volume, but we have already decided that the change we want to do it at constant pressure. So your delta P is equal to 0, and therefore this term delta PV again goes to be 0. And finally we can write delta H is equal to delta U plus P delta V. This is again a very important equation for us, my dear students, to solve the many numericals and even for understanding of the enthalpy in a better manner. So if we write
Sir, can you please explain the equation again?
Why not, my dear students? Which equation? This one? Can you read the equation you want me to explain again?
Delta H is equals to delta U plus P delta V.
See, H is equal to U plus PV. So when we put the negatives delta, we can write delta H, we can write delta U plus PV. So finally we write delta into U, so delta U, then delta into PV. Do you understand, child?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you please keep on replying me. You just say yes, sir, when I go forward. Now delta U we write just as usual. Now we want to think about the term delta PV. But we know that delta P is equal to 0 because we are doing the change, or we are bringing about the change by keeping the pressure constant. And that is why delta P is equal to 0. And as delta P is equal to 0, my dear students, this is the 0 into V, that is 0. And that is why we have delta H is equal to delta U plus P delta V. Am I clear? Do you
Thank
understand?
you, sir. Thank you,
Welcome,
sir.
Thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
thank you, thank you. Let's move forward. Delta H is equal to delta U plus P delta V. Now if we have delta U, then instead of delta U we can write U2 minus U1. For delta V we can write V2 minus V1. So by opening this bracket we can write U2 minus U1, delta H is equal to U2 minus U1 plus PV2 minus PV1. Now we just want to arrange this these terms. So we'll write U2 plus PV2 minus U1 minus PV1. We just write these two minus terms or negative terms together and two positive terms together, and ultimately we find out that delta H is equal to U2 plus PV2 minus U1 plus PV1. We have even derived that QP is equal to U2 plus PV2 minus U1 plus PV1. We have seen this. Yes, you can see here, my dear students, that here we have derived this equation very well, that QP is equal to U2 plus PV2 minus U1 plus P1. The same equation we have derived there, and we can easily understand this wonderful derivation that we can understand that delta H is equal to U2 plus PV2 minus U1 plus PV1. QP is U2 plus PV2 minus U1 plus P1, and finally we can write U2 plus PV2 minus U1 plus PV1 is equal to QP. And that is why we can easily write that delta H is equal to QP. We know that H is equal to U plus PV. For initial state, if enthalpy is H1, so H1 is equal to U1 plus PV1 we can write, because P we keep it constant, we not putting 1 or 2 with P. So if final enthalpy is H2, then we can write H2 is equal to U2 plus PV2. And finally, the change in enthalpy is equal to delta H, that is H2 minus H1. For H2 we can write U2 plus PV2, and for H1 we can write U1 plus PV1, my dear student. And this way we can move on to derive this change into the enthalpy, and that is why change in enthalpy delta H is equal to H2 minus H1, that is QP. And from all this discussion we can understand that change in enthalpy is equal to heat exchanged at constant pressure. So when heat is absorbed at constant pressure, we actually measure the change in the enthalpy. So when we want to measure the change in the enthalpy, my dear students, we actually exchange the heat at constant pressure. We know for first law of thermodynamics, delta U is equal to Q plus W. If work is done at pressure volume work, then W is equal to P delta V. But if delta V is equal to 0, then change in volume is equal to 0. Then change at constant volume or at isochoric change, W is going to be 0, and heat is absorbed at constant volume. And that is why we can write again that delta V is equal to QV when heat is absorbed at constant volume. That is what even we can say that we are well aware that delta U is equal to delta U is also equal to QV, and that is how we can say that the exchange into the heat at constant volume represent the change into the internal energy. So my dear students, we should be very clear now up till this that when the heat is absorbed at constant volume, it represents the change into the internal energy. But when the heat is absorbed or exchanged at constant pressure, it should we are actually measuring the change into the enthalpy. My dear students, if you have any doubt now, you can ask me. I am giving you some time. So if you could not understand anything, you can ask me. Uh, you have this time for your do you have anything to ask, my dear students? Dear students, I'm asking you something.
No, sir, there is nothing.
Nothing to ask? Okay, then this is the class test for you. Uh, let me give you the class test and let us discuss what kind of piston is used during this process. Dear student, can you
Sir,
tell me?
lightweight and frictionless.
Right,
May I request you to speak your name?
Sir, Rajkumar.
Okay, Rajkumar, wonderful answer. But you know, lightweight and okay, frictionless
Frictionless.
and weightless, or lightweight, you can say. Thank you, thank you. It's a good answer. I think it was Maitri who have even answered. Who is the other one to answer? It's wonderful. Okay, yeah. Thank you, Maitri.
Yes,
Next question for you. What type of procedure is used for the change? Will you please tell me what type of procedure is used for the change? Do you know we have studied about the various types of process, adiabatic, isothermal, isochoric, isobaric. What kind of change did we do in this particular process? Am I audible, dear students? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Vaidehi, can you answer please?
Isobaric process.
Thank you for answering, Vaidehi. Why do we call it isobaric? Vaidehi? Okay, we call it isobaric because it is done at constant pressure. We have seen that the pressure has not been changed. What is the exchange of heat at constant pressure? What do you call it? Like, what is the symbol for exchange of heat at constant pressure? I'm just asking the symbol, if you can answer. We have just studied it.
QP.
Very good. Can you be a little more audible and please repeat your answer?
QP.
Very good, very good. Maitri, wonderful answer. Please cheer up, my dear students. Please cheer up. It is very much necessary that you participate. Let's go to the next question. What is
Sir, it's
ideal?
not me.
Sorry. Okay. No problem.
Hey.
Who gave the answer, please?
Vaidehi.
Vaidehi. Thank you, Vaidehi. It's a good answer. I appreciate. What is an ideal gas equation? Can you tell me the ideal gas equation? Did we study about the ideal gas equation?
PV is equal to nRT.
Thank you, Vaidehi. It's a correct answer. PV is equal to nRT. Wonderful answer. Now I'm going to ask you a question that you need to think upon. Please try to think and answer this question. If we have the chemical reaction like A plus B that gives C plus D plus energy, what kind of reaction is it? What do we call such reactions? We have two options given, endothermic or exothermic.
Exothermic.
Very good.
Exothermic.
Can you please repeat? I'm not able to hear you.
Exothermic reaction.
Why do we call it exothermic, dear student?
Because the heat is released after reaction.
Very good, very good. Both of you, wonderful. Now, next question. See, enthalpy, we have studied about enthalpy. Enthalpy of A plus B, that are the reactants you can see here, is suppose H1. And enthalpy of C plus D, they are the product. Even one of the product is energy, but still, they are the product. So, enthalpy of C plus D is H2. In above reaction, what is the sign for the delta H? What do you expect? What could be the sign for the delta H?
Positive.
Why? If positive, then why? See, once again, there are some energy that is there with A plus B. All of the class, all the students of the class, they should think on it because it is a very important question for you to understand this concept. Please tell me, if the enthalpy of A plus B is H1 and enthalpy of C plus D is H2, what do you think? Which one has got higher energy? What is H2 is greater or H1 is greater? Which is greater? H2 is greater or H1 is greater? Okay, one more thing. Suppose I have 50 rupees, that is the 10 rupees 5 note. And if I go outside and I have 10 rupees 2 note plus 10 rupees 2 note plus 1 note which I give out. Now what is the amount of money that I have? And is it more than the previous condition or not? Please try to understand this. This is very important question for you to understand.
सोनी जी,
Sir.
सोनी सर हो गए ना?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me talk to the students.
Please, sir. Thank you.
Who is the class captain?